It's important for funders to understand something unique about corporal punishment as being an important topic for funding and for research. And that is that it requires an interdisciplinary approach, that people bring data from different kinds of sources to be able to apply to this. There's sociologists, psychologists, epidemiologists, specialists in child abuse, specialists in behavioral pediatrics, child psychiatrists. That part of the reason that this has been a difficult thing to get around and to be able to approach as a topic is because of the high emotions people have. But the other reason is that it requires interdisciplinary cooperation. And only if a funding source is able to appreciate how important this topic is to be able to deal with their own anxiety about being unpopular for bringing it up, even though it's the right thing to do and the time to do it. The other thing they need to do is to appreciate that it's something that they can help by bringing together the different disciplines, which don't necessarily come together spontaneously. So this is a challenge which we can meet. In this modern age of technology, there's no reason that people can't communicate on this subject and be able to really make a breakthrough in thinking in the United States on the subject of raising children.
There are 1,500 to 2,000 children killed by the parents or caretakers in this country every year. Some of the names are known. Lisa Steinberg was known in New York. Joseph Wallace was known in Chicago. Each community knows a few names. Everybody wrings their hands when they see the tragedy. What they fail to understand is half of those children are killed after the cases have become known to child welfare authorities. We're not protecting kids we know about. We have enough knowledge and enough insight to know what to do, but we're not doing it. Hand-wringing isn't enough. Having marches isn't enough. Having concerts isn't enough. Having good thoughts isn't enough. If you want to come down on the side of children's rights, you got to reach into your wallet and put your money where your mouth is. If you're afraid of the Christian Coalition, you have to put your money where your mouth is, just as they do. But just talking a good game is not going to be sufficient. We need to do something to help children in this country. The child maltreatment, child advocacy groups are on the horns of a dilemma. Their lifeblood is funding. They need to attract funding from private donors, from corporate donors, from foundation donors. And it's not hard to get funding from those types of people when you show 8 or 9 slides of horribly abused children. But it becomes very difficult to get funding from them if you define the deviance up, not down, and say, no, this is just the tip of the iceberg of child maltreatment. It also includes, and then you start getting to what people call corporal punishment. Well, when you start getting to that, board members say, wait a minute, I do that. And in fact, that was done to me. And I don't think this is what you ought to be doing. You should be confining yourself to those 8 or 9 horrible pictures, and you shouldn't be casting the wider net. Now, when you begin to try to logically lay out the interconnections, you run into that kind of dogmatic personality that I spoke about. And that is, wait, no, I don't want to hear the logic of this. I wouldn't be the president of such and such a corporation if my parents hadn't properly disciplined me. If this is the direction you're going, I'm going to get off the board, or our board isn't going to donate you money. So, you know, let's not offend our potential benefactors. Let's keep the focus on the black-eyed child, not the child with the little raw handprint on the behind.
But no issue is more important, in my view, to addressing the problem of physical child abuse. If we don't have an intelligent understanding of the issues around corporal punishment, I do not believe we will put a significant dent in the amount of physical child abuse we have in this country. We will not significantly reduce the number of children who who are dying as a result of injuries inflicted upon them in their home. So I think that anything that you can do to help get the message to the American people about the problems that children face by unlawful action taken against them, and I really mean, not just corporal punishment, but all those other things that happen that start as an act of corporal punishment, and as I say, gets out of control because a parent may have not been in control in the first place when they were disciplining their child, or they don't know that you don't strike a child on the head, or they don't know that you don't shake an infant. Okay? Anything you can do to provide that education is going to be terribly, terribly important and helpful, and will save lives, in my view.
There is so little knowledge that there is a third alternative, and that is a more democratic way of raising children, a more democratic way of having a husband-wife relationship. We don't hear much about that. We need some publicity. We need to let people know, there's another way, and this way will make you happier. Your kids will be better kids. They'll do better in school. And all the other outcomes that have been proven now by these research studies that unfortunately nobody reads except other researchers or other professionals. So, I'm hoping that maybe the schools could begin teaching kids how to do this, and maybe some way bring the parents in on it. It used to be that parent participation in schools was pretty heavy. Maybe that would draw parents into the schools. Their kids are learning these methods, and they are. Some schools are many schools now are teaching kids peaceful conflict resolution, so they don't fight on the playground and so on. So a lot can be done. I wish we get more publicity, because it's so important. Our country is going to hell in many ways because there's so much crime, there's so much drug use, there's so much kids are damaged and leave home, and the statistics are really bad. 67% of marriages that take place today, right now, today, 60% will end up in a divorce court because they don't know how to have a good relationship. Now, if they don't know how, they can't teach their kids, So